For the whole bag, all bands up. N1, know how sauce. All facts, bitch, I took the cap like off. Yeah. Something told me I didn't choose this lifestyle, it just chose me.
What up, Loyalty family? What's the deal, man? Y'all already know how this go. Nigga, we got another reaction video. Let's get it. So today we reacting to motherfucking Swamp Stories. A lot of y'all asked me to do this one. It just came out December 6th. Today is December 8th when I'm recording this. So y'all know whenever how many days this came out. Today we reacting to the new Oakland 300 versus 400 breakdown. Common question today is, who's your favorite artist from Oakland right now? Who are you listening to from Oakland? As far as if you don't know anybody from Oakland, man, go check them out. Go check out Oakland. You got a lot of dudes, man. I ain't gonna even go into that. But you already know how it's go, man. Let's get straight into it. Comment 5 stars being the highest, 1 star being the lowest, and send me your favorite clip that you heard. Let's get to it. 300 likes and 400 shares. Let's get straight into it, man. Let's press record. Let's press play.
For this episode, we head back to the Bay Area. This video was requested over 1,000 times, and every time I would hear, do another Oakland video, I'd be like, yo, I already did Oakland. But then I went back and watched the video and realized how much I didn't cover. I also realized how far I've come. Like, wow, that first video was low quality. So I decided that Oakland deserves another episode. But this is more than a regular episode. This video will dive deeper than any video I've ever made. You'll really get a taste of Oakland after watching this video. You'll also get to see what's behind everything you see in the news every other day. You'll see the old Oakland all the way up to the new Oakland. Let me paint the picture for you. This right here is history in the making. So let's get into the video. When people think of the Bay Area, they always think of San Francisco first. Then they think of Silicon Valley. Then after that, probably Napa. Well, it's pretty much always been that way, even since the days of the gold rush. San Francisco was always the attractive destination
Hence the
city.
49ers, right? The gold rush, hence the 49ers.
And Oakland, not so much. Oakland has always been the blue-collar city, going all the way back to the 1920s. That's when Chrysler and Ford opened up factories in East Oakland, prompting Oakland to be called the Detroit of the West. Because it's always been overshadowed by San Francisco, Oakland has always had a chip on its shoulder. But more than that, it has an element of toughness and strength, and that really began in the 1960s. That's when Oakland...
The Black Panthers, y'all. Look, I said it before he said it, right? The Black Panthers was, if y'all don't know, they originated in motherfucking Oakland. If y'all don't know who the Black Panthers are, they're like, let's say a revolutionary group, right? For African Americans, you know, just standing their ground and stuff like that.
Began having a new identity, and some locals were not thrilled about it. A new era in Oakland had begun.
Huey P. Newton. The great Huey P. Newton, bro. Well, some say he's great, right? Some wouldn't say the same. They stood for something, man, if y'all don't know.
Figures such as Huey and Bobby began their movement. This movement wouldn't last long, though, and Oakland started to head down the wrong path. The 1980s brought a whole new element to the...
You gotta think about it, too, like, right? The Black Panther was also... like trying to, you know, it wasn't a gang, right? I don't know. I wouldn't say before gangs, but there was something like a gang, and that's where it came friction. You know what I'm saying? And then drugs and guns and stuff like that became that. Once they arrested certain individuals from the Black Panther Party, that's when everything, you know, once you take out the leader, everything else is gonna fall. It's just, that's how it works.
Streets of Oakland, the nationwide era of how do I say this? Rock climbing, but without the climbing? Yeah, the thing that people use to... You guys get the point. Yeah. But it wasn't all bad, because this era is when Oakland's hip-hop reign began. Rappers Too Short, MC Hammer, Drew Down, Shock G, and Richie Rich all came along and...
Who y'all want to see me bring out of them four to Throwback Thursday?
Gave Oakland the national spotlight. They all had a unique style and represented the Bay Area to the fullest. This can be remembered as the G-Funk era. But after this, a new trend came along in Oakland.
Mr. Fab.
California, man. Welcome to the Bay.
Hello. Yeah, man. Oh, the slideshow. That's what they call it. Scrapers. Going dumb. You know, Mac Dre. All them type of good people, man.
Let me introduce you to the hyphy movement. first, you're probably thinking, what is hyphy? Hyphy, to be extremely rowdy, excited, and energetic. And that perfectly describes Oakland. If you want to hear what the hyphy movement sounded like, check out Mr. Fab, Keep the Sneak, and Tracks a Million. So hopefully this gave you guys a taste of Oakland.
No, if you want to hear some motherfucking hyphy music, go listen to Mac Dre.
And its history and culture, but I know that's not what you came here for. So let's get into the good stuff. And as much as Oakland is a vibrant and fun city, it also has a darker side. A side that we will cover from top to bottom. But before we get into it,
for the ones that
let me run the intro.
That look like Spidey, I think that's his name. I don't know all these niggas, so I may have the wrong name. So y'all don't kill me with that. That's that nigga's killing it right now. I can't think of his name, y'all.
Oakland is having its worst year since 1992. It's November, and the city has over 125 homicides. This gives it one of the top 5 highest rates in the country. Many Bay Area residents are wondering what in the world is going on. But here
we read into an ad, of course. Shout out to Swap Stories, man. No disrespect.
Now I'm going to talk to you about the Google Pixel, this magic eraser feature.
We're gonna get your ad out the way.
Detects what you're trying to get rid of. Bam.
You dig?
By switching to AAA insurance, we're able to save over $450. More gas in our car.
Here's the thing, it's really not all that complicated. They tell you everything you need to know in their music. Now, I assume that most of you aren't as bored as I am.
Let's pause it a little bit, y'all. My bad. It's tweaking. There we go.
You probably have no interest in looking into it yourself, but me? Yeah, I took the time to put everything together. Why, might you be asking? I really don't know. It's kind of sad. But either way, I'll break it down in a simple manner for everyone to understand. Oakland pretty much has 3 sides: the 2s, 3s, and 4s. But in order for it to make sense, let's head back to the start. It all started in 2002 with a man named Leon WILEY and his friend DeMarcus Rawls. Both were residents of the Acorn Apartments in West Oakland. Leon WILEY's nickname was Tweezy, and Tweezy...
Comment question today: what movie had the Acorn? I don't know if it had the real Acorn Projects, but what movie had the Acorn Projects in that motherfucker?
His name was known all over Oakland, and not for good reasons. In fact, he was feared by most, if not all. Well, it all started when Tweezy fell out with a group of guys right down the street. About 4 blocks away from Acorn, you have Campbell Village. Acorn and Campbell were at odds over some minor disagreements. Well, Tweezy would put that issue to sleep. Literally. Bam.
Oh, shit.
Due to their reputation, Tweezy started calling him and his friends the Nutcase, and then they became known as the 400. And their game plan was Shaquille O'Neal. Dominate. They were not going to let anyone get in their way. It didn't matter how old, what, where, and when. The Nutcase were going to get their way no matter.
You gotta imagine, like, right? What the fuck is going through these young men's minds?
Or what? But they quickly realized that it was hard to do it alone. They needed to add to their roster. And that's exactly what they did. They made allies with East Oakland's strongest sections. Their first edition was Bossland. Boss stands for Birch, Olive, and Sunnyside, which are the streets they cover. But then, Nutcase added 88th shortly after, but more specifically, the Hillside Apartments.
Okay, so if y'all know anybody from Bossland, 88th Street, or motherfucking Acorn, any new rappers, hot up-and-coming artists that y'all want to see me react to, comment below. You dig?
It was a new phenomenon in Oakland. It used to be that everyone had their own identity, so this teaming up stuff was brand new. And for the next 8 years, Nutcase would continue expanding. They would add an area called 55th, also known as 557. They're located right up the street from Seminary. So let me break down the original Nutcase. It was Acorn in West Oakland, Bossland, 88th, and 55th. And at this point, it was just unfair. It was like when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, like a ridiculous all-star roster. So naturally, the rest of Oakland was...
You gotta look at it, right? They didn't, let's say, I don't know how many good games they did, got allies with. Now they got 4-5 hood. to beef with this one hood now, right? So now you got to think about the 400s. Now the 400s like 300s. Now they got to come back with this shit like, nigga, you got to be fucked over.
It was like, hey, we need to team up as well, or else we will not have a chance out here. But that wouldn't start happening until November 6, 2010. That's the day that two 18-year-olds, Ed Hampton and NARIO Jackson, are sitting in their car in West Oakland. That's when Nicholas Harris pulls up, and bam!
R.I.P. Ed Hampton and NARIO Jackson.
So that's when West Oakland's ghost town decided that enough is enough. They would band together with the rest of West Oakland, except for Acorn, of course. And together, they would call themselves ENT, Ed NARIO Team. They would also adopt the nickname Stubby and the number 300. So let me clarify again. 400 is Nutcase and 300 is Stubby ENT. So Stubby would continue to expand as well, as they needed strongholds in the east to match the case expansion. So
anybody famous come from these hoods, man. Like, besides the negative shot, like I said, besides the negative shit, is anybody else come from these hoods, man? Let's press record.
This was the start of 300 versus 400, so let's get into it. Well, the new generation of Case would face internal affairs before anything. April 21st, 2012. A group of teens are hanging out at the park on 77th. That's when SHONTE Daniels gets into a disagreement with his close friend. Bam!
That's how it works. That's how it works.
January 7th, 2013.
Now we ain't friends no more. Now we got issues.
Tyrante Mickens would be sitting in his car on 77th and Hamilton. Bam! This right here would be a huge loss for Case. You hear them talk about him all the time, still to this day. Well, they would pop out a few months later, and in a major way. June 27th, 2013. This is the recount of a woman named Michelle Nelson, as she told OPD back in 2014. Stubby's William Ward, also known as Wheeze, was living on 84th at the time, and that's where he and other Stubby would hang out. Well, on June 27th, he would be outside with a group of friends. Well, Michelle notices that his friends vanish off behind him, and Wheeze would be standing out there alone for a few seconds. That's when a blue car pulls up, and bang!
Damn.
The aftermath. This is when things get interesting. A friend of William Ward would say that a girl called him right after and told him that it was a man named DeMonte Starks, also known as Biggs. This was still not enough, so a man named Eddie Williams would volunteer to help out under one condition. Eddie wanted them to help his family out with legal issues. Both sides would agree. Eddie Williams would wear a wire and be placed with DeMonte Starks. Eddie would ask DeMonte what happened on June 27th. DeMonte, who thought Eddie was his friend, would tell him everything. So Eddie would leave after getting what he wanted. He would run yelling, "I got him! We did it! We did it!"
Bitch ass shit. I'm not with the deaths and all that other shit. I'm gonna be 100. I'm against all that other shit. But that is some bitch ass shit though. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Nigga snitch, man. Nigga gonna get him. I'm just keeping 100. Nigga deserve whatever he, man. That's out, bro.
And he's right.
You let them
they
do their
did
job.
it.
Let them do their
August
job, bro.
14th, 2014.
You
Case's
signed up for
Norman
this
Lewis, also known as Norm, would be on 80th and Alder. Bam. Now, this wasn't nearly close to everything that's happened over this time span, but it was really the most important events. So let's skip ahead to what's known as the fourth generation, the new era of Oakland. Case and Stubby are pretty much everywhere now. So let me break down the new era. Let's start with Case. In West Oakland, Case covers Acorn, which is represented by Yid, and most importantly, Kato. He recently got famous for his hit song, Go Off.
Okay.
Then in North Oakland, Case covers...
That's why he covered it. Bitch, go. Ooh.
Covers Acorn, which is represented by Yid, and most importantly, Kato. He recently got famous for his hit song, Go Off. Then, in North Oakland, Case covers Ice City, which is represented by Lil Rod and Lil Freezo. This is actually the neighborhood that Marshawn Lynch is from. Now let's head to East Oakland. Well,
Marshawn Lynch is not a gangbanger, guys.
This is where it gets crazy. They now cover most of the 20s, also known as the Dubs. They're represented by Oakland's two biggest rappers, Offset Jim and All Black.
Offset Jim, that's the nigga name. Offset Jim, fire, bro. Them two niggas is
They're represented by Oakland's two biggest rappers, Offset Jim and All Black. Then they cover an area of East Oakland called Fairfax. They're represented by Fredo Bags and Kai Benji, who's from High Street. Those two are pretty much top dogs right now in Oakland. Then you have the 69th Village, who's represented by Repossession Rin. Then Case also covers the 88th Hillside Apartments, which is represented by Yachty Benji. And yo, this is how he looked a year ago, and this is how he looks now. He went from Charles Barkley to Sam Cassell in just 1 year. Then finally you have Bossland, which is represented by
Wait. What you mean by that swap story? Why you been what you saying, y'all? What is he saying? He saying he on drugs?
Bossland Chris, Zayel, DNI Mike, and Capolo. Wow, so that's all 400 now. Case covers all that area, but Stubby has expanded as well. They cover Ghost Town in West Oakland, 77th, 73rd, and the Alphabets. The Alphabets are A through D Street in East Oakland. Stubby is represented by a rapper named Spidey. Well, Stubby is no longer alone in this battle. A new number has risen in Oakland. 200, also known as two letters. They are close allies with Stubby, so essentially 200 and 300 are the same thing. Well, 200 are represented by a rapper named Cold Game, who's from San Leandro. All Black would call him out on a song saying, they bang in the suburbs like they Cold Game. But 200 also have a rapper named Ace Rico, and he's from the same neighborhood as All Black. So all of this is messy. But Case say that Ace Rico is from the suburbs of San Leandro anyway. Anyways, 200 occupy the Alvin Groom's apartments in East Oakland as well. So if you look at a map, this is...
Okay, let's do it like this. What side got the better rappers? You know what I'm saying? What side got the better rappers? 300 or 400? Who got the better rappers?
What Oakland looks like now.
Hey, I know Fruitville.
Everything has changed. So let's get into the important events. Well, actually, I'm not going to do the whole BAM thing. I'll just list off what happened. It's way too much to cover. RP, all these young men that passed away. Big, Max, Elijah, Frank, Recently, some paperwork has come out on Spidey's name. In the paperwork, he allegedly tells what 4s and 3s mean. He also says that he cracks 4s. If this is true, do you guys think that this is okay or not?
No, did he violate? And y'all know recently, supposedly he got robbed. What y'all feel about that in the paper? Well, I don't know if he got robbed, but I think it was the paperwork shit. The rules? Well, basically the whole Bay Area would think so, and Stubby would DP him. But clearly not everyone thought it wasn't okay, because he would hit the studio with San Francisco rapper Swervy. Yo, it's a paperwork convention. Anyways, all jokes aside, this situation is crazy, and we can only hope that it will resolve itself in some manner. It has gotten even crazier now that Sacramento CML Lavish D has sided with Case. You can see him in many of their music videos and vice versa, but Stubby was not a fan of this.
You know they need some help. They clicked that with lab gas.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Swamp Stories. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Peace.
You heard what he said. But y'all already know this go, man. That's the end of the video. If y'all enjoyed this, y'all want me to bring it back again. We're going to try to stay on these Swamp Stories. I'm going to make sure I make a playlist for y'all on the other channel. If y'all don't know the other channel, go to Loyalty Gang. You know, this is just releasing it on Loyalty Family, but it released early on Loyalty Gang. So y'all always want to see it earlier on there, go to Loyalty Gang, man. I'm just letting y'all know. But like I said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, man. Make sure you share it to your auntie, your granny, and your motherfucking man.
Bitch, I took the cap like off. Yeah. Something told me I didn't choose this lifestyle, it just chose me.